Hi everyone, welcome back to the Hynt Beauty YouTube channel. I am so excited to share with you guys today one of my favorite Hynt beauty products ever. And there are many, so that's a testament. The Stella Loose eyeshadows. Now I wanted to really highlight these products for you because the shade range is phenomenal. It's what I have on my eyes today, with the exception of one purple in that middle shade for my crease in the Sweet Ballet palette. But underneath my lash line, my lid, in my inner corner is all the beautiful Stella shadows. And I think a lot of people knock the loose eyeshadows. So not only am I going to share with you swatches of the entire amazing line, there are quite a few shades, I'm also going to give you a little bit of demonstration on how I like to apply the products, show you a sneak peek of a new brush as well, and just some tips and tricks to getting your shadow to last and apply the way that you would like it. So let's just get right into the packaging first. It's just a classic Hynt Beauty packaging, just a little circle that looks a little something like this. Has a black lid, the classic Hynt Beauty logo on it. It has 1.3 grams worth of product, so plenty. And then we have the ingredients. All we got in this bad boy is mica, iron oxides, titanium dioxide, organic green tea extract, and organic gotu kola extract, and of course they are made in the USA. So they're simple, the pigmentation is great, the shade range could not be any better, and without further ado, let's get into the colors. First and foremost, we have the shade Frozen Pink. Frozen Pink is just like springtime perfection. It is this icy, shimmery, whitish pink sort of shade. It's gorgeous. Inner corner highlight would be great. If you like a severe brow bone, go ahead and do this as well. Or just a good old-fashioned frosty eyelid. I really like that every now and again. For a more subtle option, the Frozen Pink is a little bit more glittery. So a little bit more subtle and has iridescence to it. It almost reminds me of the Lumiere powder, is the shadow in Champagne. So this is more of a satin finish. So this you could definitely use as a brow bone highlight, especially if you have a medium tone skin. Really, really silky smooth. On the lid, it will act as a very good sort of neutral lid shade if you don't want anything crazy, you just wanted something defined. And I really like to do a shade like this over the lid since I have such discoloration in my eyes. Really good everyday option, that is Champagne. Then we have the shade that I have all over my lid right now, and definitely more of a shimmering one, and definitely one of my most used. This is Seashell Pink, and Seashell Pink is definitely more of a peachy gold than a pink, but I do get that sort of rose gold flavor from it. This one again is more of that metallic finish, less glittery than Frozen Pink, but still that metallic goodness that I love, especially in an eyeshadow. Next up is the shade that I use in my inner corner. This is another one that's very much more similar to the shade Frozen Pink. This is the shade Ice. And Ice is almost this bluish, silvery gray. Not actually so much blue, that's more the next shade I'm going to talk about. This is like a glittery, icy, whitish, cool toned gray. Classic shade, very like a Marilyn Monroe or something like that. But I love this personally, it's my favorite for a little inner corner pop. It is blinding. Moving into a little bit of fun color, they do have a couple pops for us to enjoy. This is the shade Periwinkle Blue, and Periwinkle Blue is the shade I took along the bottom lash line. The name is pretty much perfect. It's definitely a periwinkle shade, and this is also along the lines of Ice and Frozen Pink. It's a little bit more glittery than the rest and has that high shine finish. If they if they didn't have the glitter in it, you could like smack it on your face like a highlight. It's icy, it's bright, it's pastel, it's very, very spring. So that's a fun one if you want to introduce a little bit of color. Then we have my pop of color of choice, purple. It is the neutral of the popped colors, and this is Royal Amethyst. And Royal Amethyst is not very bright, so again, it's not as much of a pop as the Periwinkle Blue, but it is equally gorgeous, especially to do something like a smoky eye. And it's also has a little bit of a brownish gray to it, so it's almost more like a taupe. It doesn't have as much glitter to it. It's more satin, like the Champagne shade. It's absolutely beautiful, and if you love yourself a smoky eye, wet that across the lid, put a little bit of the Sweet Tuxedo palette, and you are ready to go. Next up, you guys are gonna know this one already. I had to force myself to not use this shadow on my face today. This is the shade Honey Gold. Come on. This one I think is the most pigmented of the bunch and the most like blinding metallic. It's also a very universal shade because I know on dark skin tones sometimes those pastel light tones can come off a little bit ashy. This will work if you are just Snow White or if you are an ebony goddess. It is next level gorgeous. It's a warm honey golden shade, and wow, is it amazing. To get that foiled effect, I do love to wet the shadow, but this one, you don't even need it. I don't know what it is about it. It is just metallic. It makes it feel like Cleopatra. I'm super into it. If you want something a little bit more cool tones, a little bit more on the bronzy side rather than the golden side, and if you used to like the Maybelline Color Tattoo and Bad to the Bronze, you will definitely love this shade. This is just the shade Warm Bronze. And like I said, it's a little bit more, it's definitely more cool tones than the Honey Gold, but it still has that beautiful warmth to it. Slight bit of orange undertones, and again, very, very pigmented. Not quite as metallic, but does have some fine little flecks of glitter, so it has a nice complexity to the lid. And again, another universally flattering shade. That's when you can chuck on the lid every single day, wear it to work, wear it for play, whatever you would like. Now, ending off this with a little bit more deep tones. Again, this is great for a smoky eye or just to add some complexity right in the center of the lid. This is the shade Diamond Chrome, and Diamond Chrome is kind of amazing, sort of smoky eye perfection, and it's kind of hard to describe. It's definitely mostly a gunmetal, has a finish very similar to Warm Bronze, very smooth, very pigmented, but like very wearable. It's dark, but it's very wearable. I think if you wet it and use it as a liner, it would be really cool as well. Again, or just over the lid with the Sweet Tuxedo palette. That's one of my go-to palettes. I think it would be absolutely fabulous with that. And a good nude lip. Again, today I'm wearing Bellini Nude. Really, really unique shade. I don't really have much like it in my collection. It almost has like a little kiss of purple to it as well, which I think makes it a bit more wearable and daytime. And the final shade is, of course, Midnight Black. Another one, feel free to wear as liner. Of course, this is much darker than the previous color I mentioned. And this one, I will say, is a little bit more difficult to work with. I would definitely wet this and use it as a liner or use it as a black. It's not like full-on scary black. It's more of like a coal grayish color, but still has that complexity, and it's more like a satin matte sort of shade. Has no shimmer in it whatsoever, so it looked really good with the Diamond Chrome, a little bit of ice in the inner corner. I'm getting carried away, but anyways, you guys, that is it as far as the swatches go. If you would like to quickly hop into the demo, then stay tuned. Okay, so let's get on to the little demonstration slash application techniques, because I know a lot of people fear the loose shadows, but I'm here to make it super duper easy for you, so don't worry about it at all. All you're going to need is a flat synthetic brush, something like this. This is a new dual-ended brush that Hynt Beauty will be coming out with in the very near future. Has an angled buffing brush, and then it has the flat synthetic, which is what I'm going to be using today. And you can use the Stella eyeshadows both wet and dry, which is one of my favorite features about the product. But I like to use something, either a makeup primer spray. This is one I picked up on Amazon. You can get rose water and glycerin from Whole Foods because makeup adheres to glycerin. I love to use these shadows wet because you get that more metallic pigmentation and it lasts all day. So, and there's no fallout. That's my favorite thing about it. So I'm going to show you guys how I would do that. Wet, I think, is the best way to do it with minimal fallout. So I'm just going to spray my brush. No more than 3 sprays. Just get it damp. It does not need to be soaking wet. And for the lid, I am actually going to take the Stella shadow in the shade Seashell Pink. And all I'm going to do is, they have a little sifter. I'm just going to drop a tiny bit of the product into my cap, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit on the brush. Now the biggest thing with this is don't overload your brush. You could always tap off your brush for excess. That's more so if you're using the powder product dry. But after that, we're just going to go more in a pressing motion all the way across the lid. Again, to avoid that fallout, but we're still getting that foiled sort of finish. So you can dip in your brush a couple of times if you have to. I'm gonna go back in now and just pat that across the lid. Okay, so that's it for this eye. Like I said, that same patting motion can apply to the powder shadow as well if you just want to use it dry. But the wet shadow, especially if you are wary of loose shadows, this is going to be the way to go. So I'll show you guys one more time on this eye. Just sort of patting it on. And you can see that the pigmentation is just intense and amazing. And a really good eyeshadow primer as well is if you take the most thin amount of the Duet Concealer, apply that over the lid, and then set it with the Finale translucent powder that Hynt Beauty carries. It's flawless. Also, a tip for if you are going to do sort of the smoky matte shades on the outer corner, do your lid shade last. I know it almost feels a little bit wrong, but feel free to do the lid shade last because as we're buffing away, the product will dissipate and you're gonna need to reapply it anyway. So you could always just go ahead and do that. So those are my quick little tips on how to apply the Stella shadows and how to make them last all day. So I'm going to finish up this look and then we will wrap this up. Alright you guys, that is it. That is my completed Stella eyeshadow video. Sorry it's a little bit longer than normal. There are a lot of shades to go through and a lot of information about them because I love these products. So if you like these videos and you would like me to do it to some other products, do give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe. We are back on our weekly roll, so I will be uploading on this channel every single Friday, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget all of our social media is down below, as well as all product links. If you guys would like me to start including what I'm wearing on my face, I can definitely do that for you as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me over on this channel and supporting a fantastic company like Hynt Beauty. But stay tuned, we have some awesome content coming and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!